The last fundamental we're going to share with you today is base running. And it is a skill, and it is something you can incorporate into your practice. It also helps promote the physical fitness aspect of the baseball practice. So one of the concepts, and one of the ones I would impress upon our players, is to run through first base. That is what they'll be doing 90% of the time when they run down the baseline. So one of the things we're going to stress in practice is practicing that over and over again. A lot of times we have them just run around all the bases as if they're hitting a home run, which is a great way to end practice, but it happens very rarely in a real game of baseball. So we're going to show you some skills now and some drills with base running. All right, when it comes to base running, the primary thing we want to teach the kids is to run all the way through first base. So the drill that I would suggest using is have the kids line up at home plate, one at a time, practice as if they're swinging and hitting the ball, and run straight through the base, having a coach pointing to first base as the signal to run through the base. Set up a couple of cones after the base to make sure the kids run to that cone and then turning to the right away from the field so they're not in the play. If they turn to the left, obviously they can make a movement towards second, they can be tagged out. So we want to teach kids the proper way to run through the base, turn to the right, and return to first base. After all the kids have had a chance to run through first base a couple times, then I would have them practice the next part of base running, which is learning to take a turn at first base. Crucial to this activity is learning to move out toward the dugout before you get to first base so that you can make a tight turn on your way to second. However, in this particular drill, we're going to have them take a turn as if the ball was hit to the outfield or it's bobbled in the infield. And we don't quite want them to go to second, but at least take a turn so that they're ready to run to second in case there's an overthrow or a drop ball. Okay, we practice with the kids running through first base. We also practice with the kids taking a turn in an effort to get ready to run to second if the case may present itself. A couple things about that: your coach has got to be really loud to make sure they understand to take that turn early, and when the child reaches and takes the turn, they got to make sure they keep their eyes on the baseball at all times on their way back to first base. A lot of times the kid will drop their head, turn back to first, and the ball could be thrown behind them and tagged out. So always the base runner, the eyes are on the ball in play. Keep repeating this drill as you teach the kids to run to second. Same drill, coach would tell them to hit the ball. They'd be running down the first base line. First base coach will be giving instructions, go two, usually is the best way to word that. They'll want to angle out to take the tightest, shortest distance to second base, using their outside leg to push off first base as they move towards second. Now, one thing to teach the kids, especially as they get older, about halfway to second base, look over towards the third base coach so they can see whether or not they're staying at second, they need to get down at second and slide, or take a turn at second, just like we did at first a few minutes ago. You can repeat this for going to third base, and then in practice with each kid doing a home run all the way around where they hit the inside of every base, take the little angle, and score as quickly as they possible all the way around the bases. This is a great activity to end practice on, gets the kids up and energetic, and they all feel like they hit a home run.